Welcome back as we head up to 3:15 this Sunday afternoon. Good to have you with us. I'm Gareth Edwards. As they say, all good things come to an end, including, of course, Pule Mabe's stint as ANC National Spokesperson. It has been quite a few years been in the position as well, and kindly this afternoon, Pule has come in to join me as well. Hello, Pule. So, how are we feeling? Do we take a sigh of relief? Are we breathing in and breathing out now?
Yeah, I know we are quite relaxed and afternoon to your viewers. So the ENCA, like many other media platforms over the past 5 years, had become home to some of us, as we had to either wake up and start our day with yourself, start our mornings with you, or come back to end our day with you. For those late evenings when we needed to come and convey messages of the African National Congress.
So when you look back over all of it, how would you sum it up? Would you go more positive, negative? How would you feel about it? It's a tough job.
Well, I must say that one has learned a lot from all of you, from the entire fourth estate, from colleagues in the African National Congress, those that I served with in the leadership. It has not been an easy one. It was a roller coaster, you know. But here we are. We have finished the race. I think that's what matters.
you got the medal at the end.
Yeah, no. We finished the race. We finished the race. I recall and recount the many. Some of the interviews that I had even with yourselves.
We had fun a couple of times.
Yes. It has not been an easy one, you know. So, but. You know, we can only wish those that are coming in to occupy this position all of the best. Comrade Mahlengi Bengu, whom I refer to as my big sister, is coming in with experience. She's an accomplished cadre herself, and will be able to handle this position with the greatest of fortitude. We'll be here to give her the kind of support that she needs.
I don't know if there was an official handover, I don't know quite how it worked, but when there was a discussion between the two of you, was it a bit more of a prepare yourself, or what did you say to her?
Well, on Friday we had our farewell, which was arranged by the Department of Information and Publicity, which she also arranged. In the processes leading to that, I had prepared a handover report detailing some of the challenges, the real challenges that we faced in DIP, the fact that we did not have sufficient manpower to be able to do the work. We depended a lot on volunteers. You know, as we came here to talk to yourselves, you'd assume that we have got a big staff contingent at Lituli House, and yes, it was just the work being done by less than 5 people. You know, so I had to make my sister aware that the unit is quite constrained. The reason why I would do the door-to-doors at various stations was because if we did not do that, the voice of the ANC would be missing in action. So, yeah, but she's equal to the challenge, and I'm sure she will do even far much better.
How fair were we as the media? How fair were we?
Well, there are times when it was a bit rough, I must say.
Unfairly, though?
Well, I wouldn't.
Or was it just robust?
It was quite robust. I mean, I know every time I left ENCA and I felt that, no, man, maybe the interview didn't go quite well, or there are issues which I don't believe were addressed properly, I would immediately call Faith. But Faith, I don't think that the way your anchors handled me was fair.
Faith Daniels, you're talking about.
Faith Daniels, yes. You know, and many others. I mean, I had gone to develop relationships with almost all your guys here, your journalists in the field, Spamandla and them, you know, almost all the journalists that work here, yourself as anchors, who went on to receive us, the guys that get us outside, that call us to arrange.
The technical crew, the producers.
The technical crew, so the ones that we sometimes don't say much about, the ones that make sure that
it all happens.
You know, we have got makeup at least when we come in here. You know, so it has been a learning curve.
Would you ever do it again? I know you can't, but would you?
No.
Pule Mabe of 2018.
No,
if Pule Mabe of 2018 could go back and tell him what to do, would you do it?
No. I said when we finished the national conference in Nazareth, I had already said, I had conveyed that I will not be coming back as national spokesperson. I agreed to hold the fort with the Secretary General up until the ANC appointed a national spokesperson. Our National Executive Committee has expressed itself. We now have got a national spokesperson. I'm now a free person. So I've said to journalists when I addressed them on Friday that they mustn't call me. I will be calling them.
It's like Barack Obama.
Yes.
Don't call me, I'll call you.
Yeah, no, they don't have to call me. Now I'll check on them. So I'm very much relaxed. I mean, one of the print journalists who writes for Bield actually said something interesting when we went to the briefing that the SG had invited me to attend to formally do a transition and introduce the national spokesperson. He came to me and said, it's for the first time I see you without your ANC regalia.
It's true. Actually, it's a good point, actually. I didn't notice that. It's a very good point.
So I said, hey,
is that freeing, just to be Pule, not to be the ANC spokesperson?
Well, you can't really divorce yourself entirely from the African National Congress. I mean, that is the life that we know. We know the ANC. And when I came into the position, I never thought that I will finish the full term. I always thought that I will leave the following day.
Why?
It was not an easy one. It was not an easy
Just
one.
being gunned for all the time.
You must understand this. The ANC has got a big network of cadres, senior cadres, young leaders, the leagues, the alliance partners, and all of that. So every time when you communicate a message of the ANC, you have got to carry everyone along with you. And by the time I leave you in that interview, there are mixed reactions on whether I articulated the position of the ANC correctly or not.
Both in the ANC and outside.
Both in the ANC and outside. And sometimes there are also issues of the market. I mean, there was once an issue that we're dealing with around a week. We had just come out of the Lekgotla, and that issue almost created a problem in the market. It was around quantitative easing. So we would have captured it differently from what was widely pronounced at the Lekgotla itself. I had to now explain myself to those at the central bank, to economists in the ANC, in the market, because it was going to really affect. So I started understanding from that point that actually being spokesperson of the ANC not just have to do with the African National Congress itself, it also has got to do with the South African markets, with the economy itself.
It's the ruling party. Everyone's going to look at what you...
it's what one came to learn, that immediately when I come to your studio, I have to remove Pule the person from the position. I've got to always remember that for as long as I'm national spokesperson, I will be, whether I'm on the road, whether I'm in a mall, when people see me, they saw the national spokesperson of the ANC.
I want to ask you about what the general public's reaction was to you in a moment. I'll get to that. I'm just curious, though, did you ever, and be honest with me, I mean, you're at the end of your term now, did you ever just wake up on some days and you see Twitter or you see the newspapers, you see the headlines, and you're like, oh no, here we go?
Well, that was it was happening almost daily. You see, you develop a thick skin. Not only that, you also develop a way of analyzing what you see on social media differently. I mean, I get to be insulted widely on social media all the time.
Did you take that in?
No, the trick is you don't even have to respond. No, you don't have to respond. When I wrote, when I came into the position, I was not quite a strong social media person. The ANC had just over 300,000 followers on Twitter. And I'm leaving that space having pushed the ANC to just over 1 million. So today they sit at over 1.1 million Twitter followers. It was not easy, and how we did it was to be able to generate content. We used the digital publication, the form of ANC Today, to make sure that we can generate ongoing conversations with the followers of the African National Congress here in the diaspora and all over the world, and that worked.
Did you ever find that in your position as the ANC spokesperson, it was impossible to have a normal conversation with just a general member of the public, not me, not journalists, because all they'd want to do is talk about ANC politics? Could you ever just go to a bar or a restaurant and just sit and have dinner with your wife without somebody coming at you?
No, it was not easy. It was not easy. I mean, just last year, I went to Hyde Park. As I was walking in, I mean, two guys, old men, stopped me and said, "But Pule, we are not happy with 1, 2, 3. Please, you guys make sure you fix this." So every time, or you meet young ones who want money for school, you know, and this moves across race. You know, it's black, it's white, it's everyone. You know, so you sort of learn to develop that kind of a character. You know, character becomes important in this position. You have to be patient with people. You know, when I first came into the position, I was a little bit impatient, pushing back every time. I realized along the way that it doesn't work. What the public are looking for, what the media, yourselves in the Fourth Estate,
it doesn't matter how you feel.
Yes, you want that presence. You want to be able to engage. You don't care about my feelings. No. So I understood that very early. And as soon as I understood that, it just makes my life quite easy. When you are in this position, you leave your emotions at home.
Was it ever unfair that you were having to put out fires that you may have agreed with or disagreed with? I mean, I don't want to discuss politics. We're not going to go there. It's the end of your tenure. But there must have been one or two, and you can elaborate if you want to on the topic, but there must have been a few where you thought, I really don't want to go on air and fight with Gareth about this because it's not important enough. There's other problems, but I've been deployed. I need to go. I'm the spokesperson, let me go do it.
That happens almost all the time. You know, that happens almost all the time. So that's why you have to teach yourself. You have to master just one technique to remove yourself, the issues that you feel strong about as an individual. And remember that you are the spokesperson. You are the mouthpiece of the party. What is important is go out there and convey a position of the organization. So, and one of the things that one would have come to master was suspense. Now, you know, here is an issue, and we have not really concluded on this matter. The party is still handling this. I think I've had that kind of an interview with yourself as well. I think it had to do with some of our provincial conferences, whether they are sitting or not. Now, if you are uncertain of what will happen there, all you do is that you have to sustain that dialogue with suspense. How else do you do it? I mean, I've had a similar one with Dan Moyani as well, and many others as well, even in other media outlets. But now it's a skill you earn in the position along the way. And sometimes you get to be asked questions that you were not fully prepared for. And the interview is just in the middle. What do you do? To avoid putting your organization under the bus or articulating something that you might not have fully comprehended, you have got to make sure that, again, you apply the suspense rule.
But you can't come across as someone who doesn't know what's going on. I can't ask you about the Free State PEC and you tell me you don't know what's going on.
But remember, that suspense, you say it with a bit of confidence. You say it, you express it with gravitas. It doesn't have, you see, I mean, there were times when I met with journalists and they asked me things that I will be hearing for the first time from them. What do I do? I can't say to them, I don't know. It's an organizational matter. And already this issue is. So, one, because you are still going out to establish the facts, you push back on the matter, assure journalists that you are going to be coming back, so that you buy yourself time to go and gather the facts.
Don't run away.
You don't have to run away. It's not necessary.
What's the future Pule Mabe look like? Because I know that there's deployments and there's catered deployments, and we're not here to discuss that. But in a perfect world, you've been at the very high echelons of the ANC. What would you like to do as Pule within the ANC? Forget all the inner fightings and infighting. What would Pule like to do? What stands out for you?
Well, I'm still in the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress. I'm pursuing my doctorate. So in business leadership. Okay. So I'm just sustaining what I did during my master's, but really looking at the changing communications landscape coming out of the COVID-19 situation and all of that. So I'm doing that with, I'm doing a proposal now for the UNISA School of Business Leadership. That's why I did my initial master's. So there's going to be that. I'm also engaging with Wits University to look at the possibility of what one could do on the management side, on the PhD. So basically, I want to commit my time outside doing all other things that allows me to put bread on the table. One would also be committing a lot of his time towards personal development.
Towards your doctorate. And politically, is there something that you have sort of sat back and gone, I can get a bite of that portfolio, communications, tourism, whatever it might be?
Well,
is there one that sort of stands up?
I don't think I'm up for any deployment in public office. I want to go. There are other areas where we can best serve the ANC. We can't all be in parliament. We can't all be ministers. We can't all be MECs. We can't all be mayors. There are others who need to be part of corporate South Africa. We can make a contribution at various levels. For as long as we are patriots, we can not only limit our roles to being lawmakers. No, there's other things that we can do. The people of South Africa don't just require an ANC that is only in government. They also need an ANC that is alive with them in their own communities, that is at the center of solving their own problems. So now when we live amongst our people, when we know the kind of challenges that they face, when we are part of their own struggles, we'll be able to make more informed views on what our organization is expected to do to come with solutions that are fit for purpose. So that's where we are going. We are going to be part of our own small communities out there and make proper contributions that our organization expects of us.
I'm going to ask you two things. One is one regret. It's been a long time, 2018, been through COVID, been through a change of presidency. Is there a regret?
Well, there has been serious downsides. But I guess it's experiences. You know, there's a saying that experience is the best teacher. Out of every downsides that we went through, those served as experiences. We leave the position as better people, as better individuals, much more wiser, knowing how we need to handle the public, how we'll need to, because the most important thing that I learned in this position is conflict resolution. Very important, you know. You find yourself, I mean, there will be times when you're at Lituli House, before you know it, boom, there are buses from Limpopo and Mpumalanga, cadres are marching outside.
And you never knew about that. I mean,
you don't react. And you don't know. You don't know.
As the media, I think we often got the impression with you as a spokesperson, if I may, that you did know, you just couldn't say that you knew. But you're saying that there were times you actually didn't know what was going on.
No, there were times when I honestly didn't know. I mean, there was a time when I was locked with almost all your journalists at Lituli House. Because cadres had marched to Lituli House to demand either it was reinstatement of mayors or some leaders and all of that. So we didn't know. Now I got a call that day. Now, because we were now beginning to work under COVID conditions with skeleton staff, quite few. I mean, it was a few of us who were going to the office. I had to rush. The GM said to me, hey, Somlomo, please rush to HQ. We seem to be having some guests there. So you have to rush there. The media is there. You don't know what are the issues. You have to maintain your own composure so that you can at least understand what the issues are and be able to then say, this is what needs to happen. I mean, there are comrades who once came to the Lituli House and said, up until you take our memorandum, we're not going to leave. I had to ask Lituli House security that, hey guys, can't we just get an ANC envelope, reassure these comrades that indeed we are taking this memo. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck with them here the whole day. So it is those kind of things, you know. So you have to learn how to resolve conflict. You have to also learn to be patient with these people. How you speak to comrades, how you speak to the media, how you speak to everyone has got a bearing on how they will understand the message you are conveying.
I'm just curious, you saying the media and the public and comrades, I want to go sort of scales respectfully above you, so the president, deputy president. When you dealt with, for example, Cyril Ramaphosa, and there was a discussion around what you as the spokesperson are going to tell the media release or an interview you're doing.
Yes.
How robust was that? Could you go back at Cyril Ramaphosa and say, boss, I hear what you're trying to do, but I don't think this is the way to go, because I know Dan Moyane is going to be grumpy and he's going to come after me on this. Should we not go this way? How much back and forward was there?
I must thank President Cyril Ramaphosa for having allowed me that space. He allowed me the space to be able to make those kind of inputs. You know, I worked closely with him when it came to arranging his one-on-ones and all of that. And I must also again appreciate the space that he created to engage with the media. Many young journalists in this country have had access to speak to the leader of the people of South Africa in that way. You know, we created a culture which I'm hoping will be sustained, where after every January 8, the president will sit with the media and engage with them on a broad range of issues. And every time he speaks, always ask, Pule, what are the issues? Then we'll say to him, so we'll do a scan of the environment. We'll say, okay, these are the few topical issues that are likely to come out. When the president goes on a let's say, my campaign, I would go with him. And so when we do doorstop, my first point is to tell him, President, these are the issues that are likely to come out. I don't think that you must stay on this point. Or I say to him, no, President, I don't think today you must do a doorstop. They are going to take us out of message and bring in other things. So the president allowed me to do that. And I mean, I must say it was a very important task that I fulfilled during my tenure as national spokesperson, including allowing yourselves to engage with the person of the president. And as a result, what I did is that in DIP, through ANC Today, we introduced a column titled Dear Mr. President. Now, I would use the person of the president every Friday to attend to topical issues and generate that kind of a conversation. And on the one side, on the side of the president, we created conversations. So we said, let's move beyond the president writing a letter, because what President Thabo Mbeki did, he had a letter on ANC Today. We changed that under President Ramaphosa. And I think President Zuma also maintained the letter. We created conversations. We said, okay, President, let's rather have a conversation. Instead, we will rather write to you through Dear Mr. President and attend. And this was quite phenomenal, because it helped grow our social media reach. It also allowed us to build a relationship with the media and many others who are actually following on the work of the African National Congress. So it was a very, I must say, it was a very exciting time.
I want to get your thoughts on this. 2024 coming up next year. Are you glad you're out before the circus starts for the general elections? Is there part of you, even just between you and I, where you're sitting back going, I'm glad I'm getting out of this before next year?
Well, I'm still very much part of the ANC.
Yeah, sure.
And I will want to make
But you're not going to be the face of it.
Yes, actually, I will even work better to help the face of the ANC perform even much better, using the experience I will have earned in this position. I'm going to be part of the ANC's election machinery. Whatever the ANC asks me to do to make sure that we can work on regaining public trust, I will do exactly that work. You know, the ANC requires all of us, and all of us have got to display what I best refer to as stoical discipline to carry the work of the organization further forward. You know, there is no time for us to sit back. You see, what I'm happy with is that at least I no longer have to wake up in the morning. I no longer have to field a lot of calls and all of that.
You no longer have to put up with me first thing in the morning.
You know,
that'll ruin your day.
But doing the work, doing that work in the background, I will still be very much active. Actually, just so you know, many people might not be aware, I've actually been in the NEC since 2012. But because I was quite reserved, most people, when they saw me in 2017, they thought that I was serving a first term in the NEC. No, I was actually coming in for the second time. And I did work mostly in the background. I sat in very strategic and tactical platforms of the ANC for elections, for communications, to direct what must be the message of the African National Congress.
This is the problem. When you're the face, respectfully, when you're the face and the spokesperson of an organization, that's what people think it's what all you do.
Yes.
You can't do anything else. I need to say goodbye to you in a moment, Pule.
Yes.
It's always been fun over these years. We've had our tussles, you and I. But I want you, not as the ANC spokesperson, not as even a member of the ANC, as Pule Mabe, what would you, in closing, want South Africans to know about the way you see your last couple of years? How would you sum that up as a person, not an ANC member, just as a person?
Well, I think the word I used when we started, that it has been a roller coaster. I still maintain that. It has been a great learning curve. I must thank the many critics on social media. I found everything they said to be fun, some of it empowering and all of that. I never took it personal at all. So that's what I learned over the past 5 years that I've been in the position of the 54th National Conference, National Spokesperson of the ANC. So it has been very exciting. So I hope that yourselves in the media will treat the 55th National Spokesperson in the same way that you treated me. Well, you don't have to give, you don't need a love-hate relationship, but allow her as well to do her work. You know, and I'm sure that she will give you that very same, treat you with the same decency that I did as well.
So this chapter of your life is over, and I wish you all the very best.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and I wish you all the best. And I'm keen to see.
No, I must say it has been. But you can see I'm I'm in a jovial mood.
You look relaxed.
Yes, I'm quite.
Your face looks relaxed.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried. When I live here, I don't have to ask myself if I was on message. No.
I will ask you this though: who's the better golfer, you or Cyril Ramaphosa?
Eh?
Who's the better golfer, you or Cyril Ramaphosa?
Well, I'm not a bet. I'm just. I'm not a better golfer. I do try now and then. I don't even have a handicap. You know, I just hit the ball, you know. So
it goes there roughly in the same direction so where it's supposed to go. Pule,
wherever it is, I'll find it.
You'll find it. Or just drop another ball. It's fine as well.
Yeah.
Just buy another golf ball. Pule, congratulations. It's been a long couple of years that all of us in the media have been dealing with you. And now you hand that over. You hand the baton over to somebody else. But I don't think you're going to be lost to the ANC, and I'm sure we'll talk again.
No, I'm still here.
And I appreciate you coming in. No ANC regalia, as you brought up yourself. I found that very interesting. Pule Mabe, outgoing ANC spokesperson. All the very best for whatever is next for you. And thank you for coming in to talk to me.